So he knocked on the window and he's like, come outside. And she was like, what? And she comes outside and he's like, I brought you pizza. It's just like,
I was like, oh, okay, thanks. And he was like, yeah, my parents made it. It's like homemade, blah, blah, blah. And I was like,
Parents made it.
Yeah. He went back to his house and he's like, make this girl some fucking pizza right fucking now. If you want me to get married, you're going to make some fucking pizza right now.
Do we have to take a shot?
Yeah, can you make us have a shot?
I just throw up on camera.
Welcome in to Under the Apron round. I know. Yeah, welcome into Under the Apron roundtable discussion. Today we're going to be hanging out with bartender friends, service industry friends, and talking about what it's like to be behind the scenes, the good, the bad, and the ugly of working in the restaurant and bar industry. It's been an absolute shit show so far. We have just figured out how to use cameras and how to use sound, and all of us are nervous and have no idea what we're doing here, so it's going to be a blast. We are sponsored by our friends over at Private Jet. They've supplied us with some nice edibles and marijuana stuff, so thank you to Private Jet for that. That should help us kind of ease into this. And we are here with Natasha Tim, my good friend Aaron. Ashley, what's your last name? I don't even know your last name. What? Tarazas. And Mike, I don't even know how to pronounce your last name.
Falatico. I say Falatico, but it's Falotico.
You can check us out Under the Apron. We have a podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and then Instagram, TikTok. We're all over it, baby. This crew has been hanging out here while we've been setting up the set for maybe at least a half an hour to 45 minutes, and we've gotten to know each other a little bit, and we've had some fun. We have a friend who helped us out with sound, who I'm pretty sure is on DMT in the other bedroom, so it's a good way to start. So we're gonna start this off with a question for all of us, and we can go again from Mike down. Yeah, Mikey. And also, Mike is going to be helping us out Under the Apron for a lot of different things. He's going to be coming on and helping to host some of the episodes. So, welcome to Mike.
Hey.
And so, here's the first thing that we're going to talk about is worst thing that a customer does. What's your thought on that?
Yeah, I thought about this one. I would say I would have had a different answer at the beginning of my bartending career. But towards the end, I think the worst thing a customer could do was come in and think that I wanted to be there or that I was having a good time. As we were talking about before about how my patience for humans towards the end got really low, and that was one where people would come up thinking that they're out on a Friday night and I'm there. That means I'm also out on a Friday night, which is just not true at all. That would probably be one of my least favorite things that a customer does. Yeah.
I think that sort of comes with the longer you've been there. That's just your patience starts to wear thin, because I feel sort of the same. I think I'm not really a fan of, I didn't want salt on my margarita. I'm like, this is not your drink. I'm not making this for you. And, they think they're the only one there. And stuff like that bothers me. I get annoyed by little things. I'm weird.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah, those are good. I agree. I don't like those. Just not tip.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah, the not tipping sucks. For me, it's the same thing. Little things. We're getting older in the business. You're fucking, the tread on your tire gets thinner and thinner. And now I notice that, especially, listen, if any millennials, I'm a millennial. Whatever. What's the one after us? Gen Z. Gen Z. Whatever the fuck. Anybody. Human beings. I feel like manners have gone out the window.
Oh, absolutely.
At the bar that I work at now, I worked last night until 5:30 in the morning. I'm still here because I'm working hard. But it's literally, I counted until how many customers I had until somebody said please or thank you. They're walking up. 3 Tecates.
Oh, they don't even say hello.
Nothing. No hello, no thank you, no please. And then it's crazy how much you like. First of all, it's pissing me off because it's like I'm a human being. I'm not a robot. Not yet. We haven't figured that part out yet.
Right.
You know. So until they figure out robots, and Elon Musk does that, like just say fucking hello. You're a human being. Can I please have 3 Tecates? Cool, we're good. And then it's crazy because it was like 20 people in a row who didn't say any of that. It's just literally shouting whatever they need.
That's
at me.
so true.
And then the first time that somebody said, "Hey, can I get 3 Tecates, please?" I was like,
you like taking it back.
You're
like
much.
shocked.
It's fucking nuts. It's crazy.
Or when someone says like, "How are you?"
Yeah.
And I'm just like, whoa.
Not
I'm
good.
so
I'm
surprised.
not
Yeah, like, I'm terrible. What can I do?
Now that you mention it.
Recently there's a lot of customers that come up and they're like, "Hey, can I get a vodka soda?" And they're like, "I'll be right back though. I'm gonna go to the restroom while you make my drink." What? So now I'm responsible to watch your drink, and then are you gonna pay when you get back, or you're gonna cut the whole line, or what's happening?
And also, like, how long do they think it takes to make a Tito's and soda? You know,
Exactly. And I'm like, why don't you just take your Tito's and soda to the restroom with you, like a normal human?
Yeah. And
Like,
you can do cocaine and drink your Tito's and soda at the same time. And you don't have to like.
it's
not a
crazy.
secret
I'll be right
thing.
back. Just watch me drink. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, or just won't make it.
I'm here to
You know?
serve just you,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah, and what Mike was saying too, like because I think we're all in our 30s. We've done this for a while. We're getting older, etc. These 3 are now out of the service industry, and I think it's to your point, right? It's like. The older that you get, the more you do it, you just get to a point where you're like, I'm not happy here. Like this isn't fun anymore for me. I mean, I don't know. It sounds like you guys.
Oh yeah, that definitely happened.
Yeah.
Basically, any day that for me, I got to a point where unless it was a Friday or Saturday, and I was getting into it and trying to have fun. If it was like a Wednesday, a Tuesday night, and I'm doing the same thing, I would question my life. You know, what am I doing here?
I was getting, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's it. That's, you know.
I was just getting very out of character for myself because I'm a pretty pleasant person, and I was just like actively like getting mean. And I was like, this is like out of my wheelhouse. I'm not like this nasty of a person. And it was just, and it's because my people, but it's like you said, people are just awful now.
Yeah.
They like no consideration really. It's
a buddy
crazy.
of mine said that he does a lot of like club bartending when there's shows going on, and he said people started coming up just with like 8 drinks deep orders just written on their phone, and would just walk up to him and just slide the phone across the bar.
That's not. I don't like that.
Crazy.
This was he was working at it's not there anymore, in Greenpoint on Greenpoint Ave and Manhattan Ave. It's called the Brooklyn Bazaar.
Oh yeah, I know that.
A lot of punk shows, stuff like that.
Sucks.
And yeah, he said the same thing. It was like Gen Zers like walking up with their notes, with their note app open, and they would just slide the. And he said he would just
slide it
right back. He'd be like, come up whenever you're ready to place an order.
Right.
Like, let me know. You know.
On the subject of manners, sorry, we're getting off track
of course,
here.
please.
So now I'm a teacher. I've been teaching for 5 years, and one thing that comes up all the time is the students are like this. They don't say hi. They don't say manners are out the window. And something I help them with is writing emails. They don't know how to. They just type. They start an email and they just say
Hashtag.
My grade is bad. Please make it better. Or they don't say please. They just say
Like-
change my grade. You didn't grade my last assignment or something like that.
Right.
So I have
Composing a conversation. They can't have a conversation or compose a conversation
Right.
with an email. Right.
So
It's wild.
Do you think that because I was thinking about this because literally I worked last night, so like, and I was thinking this last night. I was like, oh, well, this will be good to bring to this shit show, but that like. How much is it that I'm getting older, and so like, how much is it that things have changed, or was it always kind of that way? And I was younger and more like affable, whatever the word is. And I think it's a little bit of both. But to your point, like, I do think that generationally it's changing now. Where like I got brought up in a house where if you didn't say please or thank you, like you're fucked. You're fucked
game
up.
over.
That's out the window now, I feel like.
Yeah.
Manners are really just not a thing anymore. Kids are kind of worse. And it sounds like we're old and bitter, but like, and I'm sure partially that we are getting older because my tolerance, I'm not, the way I would bartend at 22 is not how I bartend anymore.
Yeah.
So age is part of it, I'm sure. But I think the kids are just fucking terrible.
They're different, yeah. It's way different.
Isn't
Yeah.
there a restaurant where you have to, if you say please and thank you, it like
To lower your price or something?
Yeah, I think there.
Shit,
there
that's
is
where we're
a
at.
place.
50% off for please and thank you.
Nobody's heard of that. I'm pretty.
No.
I mean, I believe it. I know they have
I
those
think it's
places.
called. I think that I know that, but it's called Old and Bitter. I love that bar. It's actually they've got good cocktails.
Great
It's a good name.
What? Okay, so we'll keep it moving here to the next step. And by the way, guys, I have some stuff that I want to talk about, but by all means, keep it. Whatever the fuck we want to talk about, we can talk about. Sure. Also, thank you very much to Aaron Brown for recording this, even though he's sick and had to learn an entirely new camera today. So he's behind the camera. You can't see him, but he's beautiful and we love him.
I think he wanted to get your attention.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Is it possible we move it to get one?
Yeah, of course. Okay. Right into my mouth. Come on.
Yeah, mine not too much.
Do you want it? No, not your mouth. You're sick, but I'll pour it in a cup.
Okay, yeah, pour it in a cup.
Yeah. Do you want it right now?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Here.
It's his birthday tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Oh.
Tuesday. Oh, tomorrow's Monday. Forgot.
No, it was last Tuesday.
Oh, shit. I thought it was this Tuesday.
Happy birthday.
Happy late birthday,
Happy
Aaron.
birthday.
I'm sorry.
Happy
I thought it was
birthday.
this upcoming Tuesday.
It's also Natasha's
You knew.
birthday
I know, Friday.
on Friday. So happy birthday to Natasha, beautiful
Yeah.
25-year-old woman.
Thank you.
And maybe while I'm going to get our cameraman some booze, you guys want to talk about birthdays in the service industry? Has anybody had like a crazy birthday situation?
Birthdays
No.
don't really bother me.
Like a personal birthday?
Either one.
I always bartend on my birthday. I
You
never
really?
take. Yeah,
for
I
years.
always work, and I don't know if that's like. I don't even think people tip better. I don't like to tell people it's my birthday.
Yeah, me too.
But it ends up coming out somehow when I'm on shift.
Sure. Yeah, I'm a birthday hider. I have been for
Yeah.
years. I actually, just the past couple of years, I've been better at mentioning it to people and like actually like inviting people out to places and things like that. But yeah, I bartended on my birthday for maybe every year that I bartended on purpose.
Yeah,
I think
same.
also trying to hide from like the go out and get blacked out by 9 p.m. with friends
Totally.
kind of scene, because it'll probably wind up happening while I'm bartending anyway,
Yeah.
just later on in the night, and I make money.
And you're making money.
That's insane to me because I would never. I'm not complete opposite. I'm like, if it's my birthday, I'm not fucking working on my fucking birthday. Like,
Really?
oh yeah.
I don't think I've ever taken off.
Really? Maybe it's just me. Do you take off on your birthdays?
I always do, and this was the year I was thinking about working on my birthday.
Yeah.
But my mom used to never make me go to school on my birthday.
Hell yeah.
She would be
Nice.
like, "You don't do that on your birthday."
Right,
And,
right.
like,
I
since
get
I
that.
was a kid, like,
that.
Wow.
yeah, one
That's
year
your
she
day.
actually dropped me off, and then she was like, "Just kidding." That was like really funny. But yeah, no, we don't do anything on my birthday.
That's fucking dope.
No.
But we just had our holiday party at Alligator Lounge, and the way that they do their holiday parties, speaking of like working on your birthday, is we don't go somewhere else and hire, find another place and the bar pays for it. We work, so everybody comes in. You do 2-hour shifts.
Right.
You can drink the entire time. It's free booze for the staff at all times. And then every dime that goes to it. So if I buy a Corona and I'm a customer and it's $6, the $6 goes to our tip pool. So every cent that's spent from 8 till 4 a.m. Goes to the tips, and then it gets split up amongst the staff. And then
Hell yeah.
otherwise, we're just partying and working. And I kind of love that.
I like that.
That's a great
Yeah.
model for a business party.
It was so much
for a holiday
fun.
party. Yeah.
It, not only because it's different and because you're making money, but also because like, how long are we gonna fucking hang out in a room together and just get drunk and be like, it's our holiday party if you have nothing else to do? Like, it's good to have like something to do.
Yeah.
Sure.
We're not best friends. Like, I like you
Right.
guys, but I'm gonna be like, how's life? Life is good. Okay, now
Back to
work.
Do some more
Let's
business.
go. Yeah, and then we do some more business. Yeah. And have you guys ever had like crazy holiday parties with bars or restaurants or anything?
Yeah, the Comedy Cellar holiday party is still pretty fucking amazing. It's way different now because of how busy the cellar is, but they used to close down the Village Underground underneath the Fat Black Pussycat, and it was just a full open bar. All the comedians were there, all the staff was there. There would be like 400 people there. It was crazy.
Oh, wow. That's
yeah, it was
awesome.
insane. It was absolutely insane. Everyone's smoking butts downstairs. Yeah, wild.
That's fucking fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to the next question, and again, like we can keep it freeform, even if one of the ideas is something that we want to talk about for a while before we move on to the next person. That's cool. It doesn't have to be as rigid as the first time. What's the worst thing that that a coworker can do, Mike?
Coworker.
Mike down.
Oh, did I have it? Yeah. Worst thing that a coworker can do. If anyone else has something, please feel free to jump in because kind of struggling.
Yeah. All right. Give me a second.
So I'll start with one thing that really frustrates me. If you have a problem with me and something that I'm doing at work, and you go to the manager instead before ever talking to me about it, that to me is like fucking. And there are people who I've talked to who are like, "Oh, I only go to the manager." It's like, okay, fine, but I'm not. But to me, we're all adults here. We're like, just fucking tell me, because now it's coming down from up on high. It's been made a bigger issue, and now I'm angry at you because like I can handle criticism. If I need to do my job better, I'll do my job better. But that shit pisses me off.
Yeah,
man.
I agree.
Absolutely.
That's a good one.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Trainees. I feel like we were talking about this before. I think you and I were talking about this before. I'll say specifically with trainees when they're asking me questions while trying to tell me how it's done.
Yeah.
Simultaneously, like at the same
Yeah, that
time.
happens
Like
for sure.
I remember a guy that I worked with, Mache's buddy of mine. He was 19 or something like that when he first started. I was probably like 25, and I remember me telling him how to like within 15 minutes of me describing to him that when you restock beer, like I said to him, dude, I get it. You're not going to pull out 60 Stellas to put in a 6-pack down on the bottom. I get that, but at least pull off 12. Pull off 12. Put the new 12 in. Within 15 minutes of me describing that to him, I was watching him talking to a customer, talking to a girl, flirting with a girl, just dropping a case of Stella right on top, and I'm like, listen, man. And then I explained it to him nicely, and then he gave me shit back, and we fucking butted heads, man. The beginning when we first started, it was because of that. Yeah. I was like, listen, bro, you're not gonna last if you're doing shit like this, and then giving me shit right afterwards. Like, no, man, not gonna work.
Yeah, that's a good point because it's happened a little bit now. There's a couple new people at the place that I'm working, and I like them both. They have a lot of good upside. I enjoy their both. One's a bar back and one's a new bartender, and they're dope. But they're new. They're not only new to the bar, but new to bartending and do the job in general.
Right.
And it's like I don't need you to fucking like. I don't care about the hierarchy of it. I'm not using the OG status or anything. But there is like a little bit of nuance to like, yo, you're new. Like that they flare up sometimes and like talk back even to the managers where I'm like, what are you doing?
Again,
like,
it ties back to the
younger
younger generation.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that a younger guy? The
younger guy, younger girl. Yeah.
Right.
And it's because they were both taught by Aaron Mednick, and he doesn't know how to fucking teach kids. You know.
I never said
you're ruining an entire generation of children.
I'm sorry, everybody.
Bad grade, please fix.
You know, that reminded me, I think I've been pretty fortunate to always work with, I've never had much of a problem, I don't think. But I'm remembering, it's really a team effort. When
Big
you're
time.
busy, you're in the weeds, and you really gotta support each other.
Yeah.
And if somebody's getting real stressed out and you can sense, you want to go over and try to lift them up a little bit. And you gotta, if it's working well, it's nice. And if there's a weak link in the chain, just you got to kill them.
That's my favorite thing about being in the weeds is like being able to like kind of snap at each other a little bit on shift when it's crazy, but then like knowing it's because of X, Y, and Z at work, and like you have that like little family camaraderie where like you get annoyed with each other, but it's like over something like actually work related, and then you all have a drink at the end, and you're all fine.
Exactly.
It's my favorite.
Yeah. Tosh, do you have a thought on bad coworkers? Or what coworkers can do that kind of pisses you off?
Yeah, just don't be one.
Just don't be a coworker?
No, a bad one.
Okay, cool.
It's good advice.
It's perfect advice.
Just don't do it.
Well, and what you just talked about, actually, that is cool. So I'm not Aaron and I worked together for a long time when we were younger. It was really my first like relationship with a job. Like I'd been sleeping around with jobs. You know what I mean? I'd have like a 2-month thing here, 2-month thing here. But this was the first time that that was my main source of income. It wasn't a summer gig. Like I'm working there, and it was a family, and we all had to rely on each other. And you're right that like it is cool, and it took me some time to get used to that because I was green. But like shit's gonna go down, and people are gonna fucking scream at you because they're stressed out and they have 1,000 fucking things going on. And at first, I had thin skin with that, and I would get really butthurt about it. But then you realize, it's not about you; it's about the moment, and then we're gonna go to the bar afterwards, and we're gonna drink, and that does like change the dynamic of a relationship. Like I have friends who I've never screamed at in my life, which is great, but at the same time, to have to stretch that out and go like. To be able to absorb yelling at each other and still be okay with each other at the end of the day. That's how you become
the closest, I think.
Exactly.
You know? I'm like, you're in my fucking way, get out of the way, you know? And they're like, fuck you. And I'm like, all right. You all have a beer after, you know? You're pushing each other on shift and you're just like, I mean, not pushing, but you know, you're snapping at each other like that, but it's because shit's got to get done.
Yeah.
You're like, move. You're in my way and you're making it harder. If you want me to make your drink faster, you know, it's cute.
Yeah,
I
is.
like it.
Yeah. It can be cute.
It can be cute. It can also be gross.
Can I tell a funny story that's on the lighter side
of course.
The lighter side of doing things to your coworkers?
Okay, yeah, please.
So this a friend of mine, very good friend of mine, Lily, who she lives in LA now. I actually want to have her. She's one of the first people I want to ask to come be on the show.
We'll love that.
She's funny as hell. She does like voice acting out there, but she still works in the service industry out there. She manages a couple of different places, or she helps restaurants open. I'm not exactly sure, but
you guys are
I know
real
she
close.
has at least connections to two places right now. But she was a server at the Cellar when I was bartending there, and you know, you spend so much time with people, you learn all of their little pet peeves or things, you know, whatever it might be. We found out that Lily was one of those people who can't stand to hear gagging sounds because it makes her gag immediately, or anything gross like that. Like immediately she's like, triggered. You know. So Lily would be at tables and we would yell her name, or we would make a sound, something to try to get her attention to look over at the bar. And then she would look over at the bar and there'd be 3 or 4 of us. We'd all go, like, just make the face. And she'd be standing over a table and she'd be like, start gagging over a table while she's in front of a table. Oh God, it's brilliant. Anytime I think about that, I can like cry laughing from it if I really go for it.
It's like a sibling thing, you know, where you find what each other, you know, everything that you guys hate.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Fuck each other over. Aaron and I used to do that to each other all the time. We've talked about it on the podcast before, but like when we were working together, he would go. We had this thing that started where. If he was going up to a table and he had to kind of do his spiel of like, "Hi, I'm Aaron. I'll be helping you today. Like, here's what's going on. Welcome, blah blah blah." Or like, here's the specials. I'd come up at like 10 seconds behind and just do the repeater, but I'd be like, "Hi, I'm Laurent. I'm your server today. And the specials today are fish." And then and it just like kept escalating. And like, or like if like a cute girl walked in, like we would literally from like, you know, other sides of the restaurant like. See it like an animal, like a bird just going, and then we would go like to the other one, and then just kind of like walk because you can't run because you can't look that unprofessional, but like we're speed walking and then like bumping into each other to like try to push the other one out of the way.
Try to intercept first.
Yeah, exactly.
Who's gonna get to her first?
Yeah, that was fun. Speaking of funny stories, and this will help to go to the next question that I have for you guys. I told this on the podcast, but so the question is going to be, what do you think a good way, or what suggestion do you have to people about hitting on a bartender or a waiter, right?
Oh, this is how we opened my episode.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
right.
I remember that. And I said this on the episode that the funniest way that this is not a good way. Please don't do this, anybody. But it was certainly one of the funnier things ways that I've been hit on is I'm walking back and forth. It's a busy Saturday night at Alligator Lounge, and I'm going back and forth, and this girl is just looking up. Every time I walk, she looks like she needs a drink. You know how, like, that's another thing, by the way, customers. If you're looking straight at your bartender, that look means I need a drink. So when the people who do that, but then every time you go, can I help you? They're like, no, I'm good.
No, I'm good.
Like, what are you doing? So that kept happening, and it was like, it wasn't just a look. It was like a real creepy, like, and I'm rushing. It's busy, so I'm like, okay. And by the 4th or 5th time, I'm like, what the fuck? And now I realize when I'm leaving, her and her friends are giggling every time, and I'm pretty much assuming like this is what. But then I finally pick up on. She has her vibrator on the bar, and anytime that I come over, she kind of pushes it towards me like a Ouija board, and so she's looking at me.
That is so.
And just pushing her vibrator at me and staring.
Was it on?
I don't think it was on. But the thing is,
I wouldn't.
Why is it at the bar?
hey, why do you have it at the bar?
On the go.
What is this? I mean, listen, we travel
Yeah,
side
you
by
gotta
side.
run the bathroom.
Oh yeah, sometimes.
Don't kink shame her.
Yes,
I say good for her.
I think it's pretty funny.
I mean, it was funny.
applaud
That's a good thing.
But she never really did anything with that except for just like freak me out. And then
feel
also
awful.
like the thing is that bar, Alligator Lounge on a Saturday night, might
It's
be the
chaos.
most disgusting surface in Brooklyn. It's pizza crust, it's beer, it's like somebody's snot rag, and like
Bodily
literally to the point that there's like
Yeah.
there's like a quarter inch of liquid and like dough and shit, and she's pushing it through that shit. And I'm like, what are you fucking doing, man? So that's one way. If you want to hit on a bar, you could do that.
Yeah.
That's one possible way.
Maybe that's not her real vibrator. Maybe that's just her prop vibrator for
Maybe that's
that.
her
like it's
her
always
Like
that.
how many
vibrator.
times has it worked? You know.
That's just for bars.
Yeah, it's a bar vibrator. Welcome back to Under the Apron. We're sponsored by bar vibrators. But does anybody have any thoughts on a good way to hit on the bartender? Or when you were bartending, did you ever feel like there was a good and bad way to do it?
I think if the energy is right, it's as if you would hit on anyone anywhere.
I like that.
You'll know. I don't like the, we all get the phone numbers and all of that shit. It's always the people that don't tip that do that.
Yeah, and leave
I've
the
never had a
secret
good
number
tip.
with no tip.
Yeah, and I'm like, in what world do you think I'm gonna call you?
Yeah.
Right.
But I've definitely flirted with customers and exchanged numbers, but it's very organic. You'll know. It's like being anywhere else. I don't think there's like one distinct line you can give out, or
Sure.
it's usually douchebags.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't think it's happened like where I'm like,
This girl last night, because I was working, one of the other bartenders, she was like, I got a number. And she was like, on a $1 bill. And he was like, there's something special on there for you. And she like flips over the dollar and she was like,
thanks.
it was a $60 tab, tipped her $1
That's
and
always-
thought she would call because the phone number was on the dollar.
He's like-
Are you kidding?
He's like, it
Just
could be a
that.
lifetime of these dollar bills, baby.
There's more where that came from.
God.
Well, that's actually a great thing, and it does happen too. Like, if we can give you any advice, and I don't know why anybody would need this, but there are plenty of people who do, because I've had this happen many times. If you're gonna hit on the bartender, tip the fucking bartender or the
Yeah.
waiter. I had a table with two who flirted me up for an hour and was like, really, like, pretty much like, when can we go out? And then they tipped me $0 on a $70 bill. I was like,
It's like-
what? Why would I ever? What are you doing?
It's
What?
like mind blowing to
It
me.
makes no
honestly.
sense.
This is the same thing I think I said on the episode, but I would say the main important thing is try to chat up a bartender when they have time to be chatted up. Like trying to like maybe that scenario with that's what she was trying to do with the deal. She was trying to get you in that moment, trying to catch you in between, but you were running.
Like, I'm
from,
in
you're
the
going-
fucking weeds and
yeah,
you're
I'm
pointing a
literally moving
vibrator.
from side to side, And plus, you should have turned the vibrator on. That would
Yeah, it would have been better if it was on.
Duh.
Yeah.
But main point being though is like obviously if it's someone you're also flirting, if there is a thing that's happening back and forth, like give me a second, I'm at work, you met me at work, remember, like
Right.
Yeah.
give me a
Right.
second, I can't talk to you the entire night, it's Friday night,
Right.
you
Yeah,
know.
exactly.
definitely. Like I'll have like 2 shakers in my hand, like tickets that I'm hearing being printed,
Yeah.
and they're like asking me like, so
Where'd
what
you
do you,
grow
so what
up?
do you what do you do? And I'm like, and I'm like visibly stressed out.
Right.
Yeah.
Just like, so you want to get a drink after this? And I'm like, no.
Absolutely not.
Read
what's
the room, read
crazy?
the room, y'all.
I never actually got hit on a whole lot bartending.
What?
But I worked in restaurants. It just wasn't that. Or maybe just me.
That's a sarcastic
I-
what?
Oh,
I get it.
you get it. Okay. But I will say, now that I'm not working in restaurants, it's crazy how attractive the bartender is to people.
Oh yeah.
People don't hit on teachers like this.
forbidden, like the
know,
forbidden fruit of like, I'm gonna hit on the bar. Like if I can get the bartender's number,
Yeah.
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 Is it just being behind the bar? Is it like the physical separation, or you're making the drink? You're like,
I don't know. I guess
I'll
food
tell you what.
and
Something there.
presents. It's so nice some
Oh,
days.
people like
Straight up,
You
that.
know?
I'll tell you what though, to what you just asked though, I worked in a pizzeria before my second service job was I worked in the kitchen of a pizzeria when I was in college. The same feeling of like this this weird power that I don't understand why I have it, but like everyone's coming to me, giving me number, whatever it is. Same thing.
Yeah.
Behind
Really?
the pizza
At the
counter,
pizza
as maybe more.
Really?
I'm not even
Really?
exaggerating. When I worked in the
Wow.
pizzeria, it was a 5. We stayed up until 5 in the morning in a heavy drinking college town. 4 a.m. It was the busiest the entire night for the last hour that we were there. But yeah, same thing. We're just like this fucking. I got the fucking pizza behind me. Like I fucking run this place.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I mean,
we
who
got the
doesn't want
booze
free
behind
pizza?
us. Yeah, exactly. And we got the booze behind us. We fucking run this fucking joint. You know.
I'm in the
I think
right-
it has something to do with it.
I'm in the wrong business. I need to
Yeah,
work in a
right.
pizza place.
Dude, get in
but-
the pizza place, man.
There's actually a saying for this, so what you're talking about, and it's the same thing as like that. The camera adds 10 pounds,
Great.
but that like there's a percentage of hotness that happens once you step behind the bar or once you put yourself in that situation. Again, there's a saying that is more eloquent, but I think there is a thing, and we've all been there, right? Like on the other end of that, where you walk into a bar and you're like attracted to the bartender or to the waitress or to whomever. No, you've never been.
I don't think I've ever been like, whoa, to a bartender.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay,
You
but
know
except
too
that
much.
I know. I think so.
Yeah, damn,
seen
damn.
too
You heard that,
much.
Laurent?
Yeah. Whoops! You totally forgot about that one.
Oh, sorry.
You thought one time, right?
You were the
Right.
rare
That one time.
exception.
That one
Cool.
time.
Sick.
Yeah.
No, but I think that
Cut that out.
No, don't cut that out. Keep that in. But I think that it's a fascinating thing. I think some of it's, especially for women to men, it's you're at a bar, every guy that you see looks like they want to fucking hit on you, or they're trying to get your attention, or they're trying to do all this stuff. This is one person who's not doing any of that. You actually have to get their attention, and like so you're also on display, right? Like, and you have the power of whatever the thing, and all these different various things do tend to like you get hit on a hell of a lot more there than almost anywhere else.
Yeah.
And I don't to answer my own question as to what's a good way to hit on a bartender. Use your vibrator. No, no. It's I think Ashley's right. You know, like you don't. It's really the answer is almost never the right time.
Yeah, almost
Right.
just don't.
Yeah, I
That's the
never feel
answer.
good doing it. I
Yeah.
just think if there's an exchange if there's money
You'll-
being exchanged, I feel weird also asking, like if I'm the customer.
Right.
I
Sure.
don't think I don't know if I've ever, maybe once. Yeah, once. Didn't work out. One time, but I don't know.
Yeah,
That's
the
just
answer
me.
is almost just don't do it. But you'll know. Like if the energy's there, it's there, and it doesn't
Yeah.
matter if you're behind the bar
Yeah.
or anywhere. It's the way your energy would
Right.
be with someone anywhere.
If a bartender is feeling it, you will know if the bartender
Yeah.
is feeling it because they will take the time
I'll stop
to
what I'm doing.
make
yeah.
extra time for you, which is not something that we
Happens.
want to do.
Yeah.
Which is not
You
something
might get
we
some
want to
free
do.
drinks
Very
as
true.
well. That's
Exactly,
always a
yeah.
sign. Oh, I got that one.
Exactly, exactly.
It's funny because I was about to say, you know, the one if maybe the most effective thing that I can think of is okay. I think I'm vibing with this bartender. Don't shoot your shot right now because they get shot at them constantly. So like
Right.
Yeah.
you're just gonna be another person trying to shoot a person who's being shot at. Like doesn't fucking work. And you immediately out yourself as like you guys. She might have or he might have been into you otherwise, but like the second that you go, hey, what do you have a boyfriend? It's like
Yeah.
then they're like then you're out. So what I was gonna say is save that. Build a slow rapport over the course of several times coming to the bar. The problem is there are people who use that strategy and they all go to Natasha's bar. So she's got like 6 guys who just
no.
come every time, and every time they like bring presents and like try to follow her home. So
Oh,
you
God.
also have to know where you live in between. Just be a human being.
Yeah.
Right.
You know.
Right.
No pointing vibrators, no following anyone home.
Yeah, it's an interesting.
What's
You
the best?
see it.
What's the best present you've gotten from a coworker? I mean, a coworker, a customer.
I don't think I've gotten anything too good. I've gotten
No?
like cookies. I've gotten snacks.
I've
I've gotten like, stuff. I know like good gifts.
I've gotten Molly. I've
Hey.
gotten Molly.
Drugs.
there
I've gotten
you go.
drugs.
When I bartended in the East Village,
I know her.
weed, dude, weed all the time in the East
nice.
Village.
Yeah, drugs
Like
is
on
good.
top of a tip, too. They would tip $20, whatever tip on their drinks, and then, you know what?
Yeah, I've
Nuggle
definitely
weed.
gotten.
There was a time when we were working together at Easy Lover, and this guy knew that her and I were together, and he was friends of friends, or used to be anyway, and like always kind of tried to corner like socially, and then at the bar, and like whenever I wasn't around, he'd be there, and as soon as I got there, he'd kind of scamper away. And one time we were working together, and I guess same sort of thing, not shoes but food. She was like, "I'm hungry," and he was like, "Oh, cool." And then he left. And he came back, and I was behind the bar. I think when I wasn't there when that initial conversation came. So he saw me. So he knocked on the window, and he's like, "Come outside." And she was like, "What?" And she comes outside, and he's like, "I brought you pizza." It's just like,
I was like, "Oh, okay, thanks." And he was like, "Yeah, when my parents made it, it's like homemade, blah blah blah." And I was like,
Parents made it.
He went back to his house, and he's like, "Make this girl
Make
some
this pizza."
fucking pizza right fucking now. If you want me to get married, you're gonna make some fucking pizza right now."
"Yeah."
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's wild.
It is wild, man. Speaking of drugs too, with presents, I got a gift from God once, and it's the only time that I thought that I actually was like, "Oh shit, there's a God," because
God drinks at Alligator. This is wild.
God is paying attention at Alligator. I one time was working behind the bar, and I was fucking like, I mean, it was busy as it could possibly be. I'm getting my ass handed to me, and I'm exhausted. I think I was probably hungover. Who knows? By the way, beautiful aspect of this whole situation: bartenders coming on to be on a podcast. Half of the people here are hungover.
I knew I had the podcast, and I made a choice.
This one
Facts.
too. Yeah. But that's exactly what it should be. But I'm exhausted, and there's no way out, and I don't have, even if I wanted to get blow, there's no way I can do that in time. Like I don't have.
You're like, I don't even have a second to do drugs. Goddamn.
No, but to like text somebody or to like procure. So I think that in my head, I go, shit, man, I would really like some drugs right now.
Wow.
And thanks, Aaron. And I take drop one drink off and come back to the bar fridge, and there's a full bag of cocaine, like a full gram, just sitting there. Not anywhere where the customers are, not on the bar, in a place that only bartenders have access to.
Yeah.
It was just you?
And it was my manager, who's 40-something years old and hasn't done drugs since she was, 18. And I was just like,
You're like looking around.
there is a God. And he gave me, this is the way you're going to show me that you're here is just 1 gram of blow. Like, that's what I guess. Like, I'll take it.
I'll take it.
That's almost too good to be true.
I know. And thank God.
Like, who planted this here?
That's definitely happened to you before.
Has it?
Yes, I'm gonna say, known you for a long time. That's not the first time.
So God is just doing this a lot.
shown.
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe it's me, I put
welcome
it
back to Under the Apron, the faith-based podcast.
I was working down in the service bar of the cellar one night, and one of the security guards, he went by Shaq. He's actually has since passed away, R.I.P. But Shaq came behind the bar, and he goes, he's a big motherfucker, and he sort of comes in because the service bar is like, we're on the lower level, and the service bar is like, you have to kind of step in. And he came in and he was like, "Yo, Mike, you fuck with this shit?" And I was like, "What?" And he just holds open his hand, and there's a massive bag of blow in his hands. And I was like, "Yes, Shaq, I do." Like, I was like, "What's going on?" And he tells me the story that he went into the bathroom just to take a piss, and he came into the bathroom. Now, keep in mind, also, he takes up the entire bathroom when he steps in. So he stepped in, and there was a dude standing at the stall, or he's in the stall, I think, with the door open. And like sort of like made eye contact with like a key up to his face, and Shaq was like, "No, finish what you're doing. And the guy finished, and he was like, "All right, now you have 2 choices. You can stay in and you can give me the bag of blow, and you can stay and enjoy the show with your table of 8 that you're here with, or you can keep the bag of blow and you can leave right now."
That's nice.
And the guy decided to stay with his friends, and I got to do the rest of his choice.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wow.
That's very cool.
Yeah, pretty wild.
So, guys, we're going to start wrapping this up here. Obviously, if anybody has anything that they want to interject with, you're welcome to. But one last thought as we are wrapping up. And I just saw it, and I've already... Okay, so, and we'll start with you, Tashi. Or actually, we'll start with whoever feels comfortable starting. But...
Here, he's already telling me I'm going to be uncomfortable.
I just realized I realized I was putting the spotlight on you.
Oh, okay.
Like I'm not saying that you're uncomfortable. I'm going to buy you some Converse, but
Cut.
Cut it all out. None of this is usable. Aaron, you're wasting your time. But what's something that you learned, especially for you guys, now that you're all out of the industry? What do you think like is a thing that you learned in your time there that you like that's applicable to life that still like finds its way resonating into your shit?
I think everything. I mean, I think every single person should work in the service industry at least once.
Yeah.
It really like makes you like a well-rounded, like better person, I believe.
I think everyone should have to do 2 years of working in the service industry, legitimately doing everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would say the thing I've learned is, like, I work in film production now, and I feel like being able to juggle communication between departments. I'm actually kind of just making this up right now as I go along, but it's true. Like especially I'll just say it like this: like being a bartender, I had to deal. You're dealing with customers, you're dealing with coworkers who are either other bartenders or wait staff. You're dealing with a manager, you're dealing with a busboy, you're dealing with a food runner, you're dealing with kitchen staff. Now I'm at my work, I'm dealing with, so I'm working in film production, I'm a scenic, but I'm working with set dressers, I'm dealing with maybe shoot crew on some days, whatever it is. But being able to realize that we're all working in the same space and we all need to take our own space at some points, but then sometimes I need to give you your space and allow you to have your space to complete what you're doing.
Right.
But remembering the whole time that we're all on the same fucking team.
You can learn respect.
Yeah, learn respect,
sure.
and we're all on the same fucking team. So maybe I'm in your way, but I guarantee you it's for a reason. It's not because I'm trying to fuck your shit up. You know what I mean? I'm working on my thing.
Boundaries and
exactly.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Same. No, I was to add on. I think still probably it employs the most. It's the how do I say this in English? The most popular job in the country is working in the service industry.
Right. That's why
so
we think that this podcast might go somewhere.
Well, so you get the most. So you work with lots of different people. It's the most. It improves your people's skills. You learn about people from all over the world, and I mean those are invaluable.
Yeah.
Skills alone.
People skills is huge, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you learn how to tip well and be nice, and
I can multitask like a motherfucker now.
Yep.
Yeah. I think when people say that it's like a kind of a blanket statement or like a well-known one that like everybody should work in the service industry at some point. I think what they're usually referring to is humility and like understand. Like it gives you a sense of like I understand what other people are going through. I know what it's like to be treated like shit. And it really does help you to ground yourself. But I think other things that I've learned, and I've mentioned this on the podcast before, but like people skills in two ways. And Aaron gave a not great speech at my wedding. And he said the one thing that he did say is he's like, Laurent's always got this thing where like he knows what the girl who just walked in, like what she's thinking, and he likes her, and she
I didn't say it like that. Did I?
That's verbatim. I listened to it before. That's literally exactly what she said. No, I'm just kidding. But that was. I think I might have said it better than you said it at the wedding. And that's one thing that like when you're working behind a bar, you're working at restaurants constantly. You meet so many people, and you get to see like how people are and the little things, and your brain just starts picking up on energy very quickly. So like I feel like I can bring that into life. It's so useful to go anywhere and just kind of I think I have a good idea of who this person is and where they're coming from. Yeah, good judge of character.
I think that's
good judge of energy. And on the other end, people skills wise, like feeling comfortable in front of people. Like I wouldn't, ironically, like I'm doing a podcast about the service industry. I wouldn't be able to do this podcast about the service industry if it wasn't for being in the service industry, not because of the work stuff, but because I would never feel this comfortable being myself in front of other people. But when you go into tables constantly and you're behind the bar constantly, you just have to get over some of that self bullshit. And like now it doesn't even connect to my brain when I'm meeting new people, like to be nervous.
People say that too about you for sure. Like you're just such an extrovert, and me too. They're like, how are you just so relaxed all the time? And like you never have anxiety or about meeting people, this and that. I'm like, This is me. Take it or leave it. Like I'm so used to people seeing me all the time. Like,
You know, to piggyback off that, I feel like I used to have, like, in retrospect, I used to have a lot of social anxiety, and bartending forced me out of it.
That's exactly what
You
I'm
know
talking
what I mean?
about.
Yeah, it's like I didn't know it until years later. Where, like, yes, exactly what you just said. You know, I'm sorry, I'm just kind of coming to this realization right now in this
love
moment.
that.
Like, yeah, people are like, why are you so comfortable just walking up to a stranger? I'm like, because they walked up to me every night for 12, for 15 years.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
I
it's
wouldn't
like-
trade it for anything.
Yeah, straight up.
It's extremely useful.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any parting thoughts that we want to say before we kind of make our way to the end of this? Aaron, I know you've been waiting to talk to us
For
about
this?
something very serious.
No, I had nothing serious.
Good.
Did I say I was going to
Yeah,
say
you said
something?
there was like a war going on or something. No.
Oh yeah, right. I thought we were talking
Vibrators,
about
you know?
Methylamine, acetylmethylene,
Oh yeah.
methylmethylene,
dimethyl.
dimethylate, dilomethyltrain. So anyway, guys, thank you so much. Thank you everybody for being a
Yeah.
part of this.
Of course, thank you.
Yeah, it was fun. We love you, Aaron. Again, thank you for doing it. You're killing it back there.
Thanks, Aaron.
Breaking a sweat.
We'd like to thank our sponsors one more time.
Yes, thank you to our sponsors,
Corona.
Private Jet, Private Jet for this wonderful smorgasbord of marijuanas, and Corona. Thank you for sponsoring us, and thank you everybody out there for watching. And we love you. And if if you're out there in the service industry, keep it up, keep working hard. Or if you need to get out, get the fuck out.
Yeah, straight up.
That's it, guys.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Hey.
Bye, Ru. Thank you.